Olanda, cunoscută și sub numele de Țara Lalelelor sau Țara Morilor de Vânt, este una dintre cele mai îndrăgite atracții turistice din Europa. Tot în Olanda veți avea bucuria să vizitați unicul muzeu al ceasurilor și clopotelor din localitatea Asten, situată în apropierea celebrului oraș Eindhoven. Despre colecția rară de ceasuri și clopote ne-a vorbit președintele uneia dintre cele mai celebre turnătorii de clopote din Europa. Familia domniei sale se numără printre fondatorii muzeului din Asten.
This moment we are in the Klok Peel Museum, which has a unique collection of bells and clocks. And of course there is no coincidence that this museum is in the same town as our foundry, because we were closely involved with the start of this museum by bringing together a part of the starting collection. And of course this was done in the end 60s, in the 70s of the last century, and at that moment it still was possible to get ancient bells from China, from India, from all kinds of countries. If you look at that today, it would be impossible because all of these objects would have been protected monuments. So we are in fact in a place with a collection second to none in the world. You will find in this museum bells from all cultures, from Africa, from Asia, from South America, North America, all over Europe. Both bells that come from for a religious function, for a symbolic function, and of course we are in the Low Countries. So the carillon is also an important aspect of this museum. The relationship between the company, our company and this museum is of course that during all our trips worldwide for the projects that our company does, we had the opportunity to look around whether there were some special items that would be nice for the museum. So we were able to help the museum to get a lot of items. And of course, in the meantime, the museum is an independent institute, but still we have a very warm relationship. The bell you see next to me is a replica from the bell that we made for the Notre Dame Cathedral in 2012. Of course, a very special project. If you realize that you make a bell for this cathedral, and this bell will survive generations of people. And I remember that prior to hoisting the bell in the tower, all the bells were exposed inside the cathedral, and to show it to the people before they would go up in the tower. And in 3 weeks' time, there were 1.5 million people coming to see those bells. This bell has the function, Notre Dame has a 17th century bell, even larger than this one, but they wanted to make this old bell go with pension, more or less, to retire, in order not to damage it from use. So they wanted a new bell that would serve on a daily basis as the most important basis for the whole set of bells. And in the history of Notre Dame, there used to be a Maria bell, but that was lost. So also now Notre Dame has a new Maria bell. Here we are in the section of the museum with bells, Oriental bells from the Far East, from Cambodia, from China, from Vietnam, from Japan, from Korea. And in this section there you will see bells from Africa. So the interesting thing is that regardless of the culture that the bells originate from, they may look different, they may sound a bit different, but what they have in common is that all have the spiritual translation of the human emotion. So the decision of having a bell till today, almost without exceptions, is a decision that is emotion driven. And that also makes the work of a bell founder a special privileged job. And now you have seen this entire collection of this museum being quite special. So we would like to encourage people really come to Asten in the Netherlands to visit the Klok Peel Museum, because there is no second one of this kind anywhere else in the world.
Ceasurile pe care le veți vedea în acest muzeu din Olanda sunt impresionante prin vechimea lor, dar și prin mecanismele care le compun.
As you see in this museum, we don't have exclusively bells, but also clocks. And our company is also a clock-making company from the very beginning. Here we see a clock made by my grandfather in 1908. And it has been in function for a long time before it eventually was part of this collection of the museum.
Din păcate, am aflat de la invitatul nostru că nu l-a cunoscut pe bunicul său și nici nu a avut ocazia să lucreze împreună cu tatăl său la turnătoria de clopote din Asten.
I'm from 1961 and my grandfather died in the war, 44. Also, my father passed away young, so I was 15 years old, so I never worked together with him. Now we will switch on a 17th century computer system. The mechanism that we see here consists in fact of two parts. One part is a clock that indicates the time, and it can also be connected to the hands of a dial plate. And the other part is the music box mechanism, of which I said that it could be considered to be the oldest computer, because you have to program the melody on this drum. And while turning, it lifts the levers and it will make the clapper fall to the bell. And by doing that, produce the melody. And this system was used as a part of time indication, because in the old times, when people lived within the city walls, the farmers worked outside the city. This music box was a warning signal for the people who lived inside the city but worked outside on the fields, for instance the farmers. They didn't have a watch, so as far as their perception of time, they had to listen to the number of hour strikes of the bell inside the walls. But when they were doing their work, they might forget to listen and listen all the strikes of the bell, so this was a warning signal. Stop your work for a while, because in a few seconds you will count the hour strike. This mechanism used to be in one of the Dutch towns, the town of Hattem, and there still are about 25 of this kind of systems in the country still in operation. Of course, the modern equivalent really is a computer system.
La ora actuală, muzeul din Asten este unul care are în componența sa două secții importante, ce îmbină meșteșugul clopotelor și al ceasurilor cu prezentarea moștenirii ecologice a regiunii. Este un muzeu eco avant la lettre, cum spune directorul instituției.
10 years ago, when we merged, when we put these two museums together, from the former Carrion Museum and the former Nature Museum into one museum and branded that to the name Klok Peel, with a very clear vision to the future. What is very important that we, with the presence of the Royal Ijsbouts casting factory and to the foundry and to the carillon maker in Asten, we have a very special place in the entire world, because they are by far the largest on bell making and carillon making, and we are by far the largest on that institute to protect the heritage and to protect the science and to protect and to support that all over the globe. The big target is for the near future. We are now around 50,000 visitors attending us. We are in a program to get more people from the rest of the Netherlands and from Europe, also working on a project in the United States. So we have a big target in next year to go for 20,000 to 25,000 more visitors to this place than in these days. Thank you very much.
Please come to Asten to visit this museum. You will see this collection is second to none and really unique.